So thank you very, very much for this kind introduction. I'm very happy to show you a little bit a glimpse into the future. And some of you will say, well, I mean, some of these things we have seen already in some movies, in some science fiction movies. And that is where I would like to bring to you too. A lot of the solutions that we have been working on together with many different companies are solutions that we all are longing for, but they are not yet there. But how did we develop these solutions? So let us get started on the connected, hyper-connected world. First of all, a brief description of the companies we have been working for. We have put together a group of 50 top companies from different backgrounds, some from the automotive industry, some from the travel and tourism industry, some rail operators, technology operators, and together we have been brainstorming, thinking about how could travel and tourism look like in a hyper-connected world, in a world where everybody has a smartphone, in a world where the devices are totally connected. And we have been starting this effort approximately 9 months ago, and we are almost halfway. It's not yet finished, so there is still another year to work. And what I give you here is just really an interim glimpse about some of the trends that we've been looking into and some of the solutions that we think will emerge in the coming years. So, what will connected mobility look like really in 2025? And the first thing that we looked into is what are the defining megatrends? What are the trends that we need to prepare for? Trends which have to do with the individuals, trends that have to do with the countries, trends that have to do with the companies that are operating them. So that was the first part of the analysis that we did. The second part was, what are the scenarios that we can develop from those trends? What are the scenarios that we need to prepare for? And in broad sense, we boiled it down to 4 scenarios. The New Balance scenario, the Maximize Growth scenario, the Mind the Gap scenario, and the Local is King scenario. These are just titles, but you will see more as we go, and I will show you a little bit a glimpse into it. So these are the scenarios that we think will define the world in 2025. And then we ask ourselves, what are the solutions that we need to cope with these scenarios, to cope with these different types of visions of the world to come? So this was the structure of the project, and now we are exactly arrived at the developing a couple of solutions and thinking about what does it take to realize these solutions. So let me start with the trends, with the mega trends. There are many, many trends that impact our world, but we boiled it down to 20 defining megatrends that we feel are most important for the mobility ecosystem. The first set of trends has to do with the changing consumer needs. And in this changing consumer needs, we feel that the most defining consumer needs that we need to prepare for are the aging population, which is a truth in almost the whole world because of the advances in healthcare. It is the emergence of megacities, and I will show you some more data on that. It is the shift to the rapid development economies that will change a lot the flows of traffic. It is the further globalization, a longing for being a connected world, for being a global world, and a tendency to look for more convenience and the time compression that mainly female consumers have to cope with. So these are, in our opinion, important consumer needs that we need to consider when we develop our future strategies. Then there is a second set of megatrends, which have to do with the new mobility frontiers, which are changing. So what we see, is continuing to become a challenge and will be an enormous challenge by 2025 is the infrastructure needs. And you have certainly heard about the challenges that each of these large infrastructure projects pose, but we have also a major challenge in terms of investment in infrastructure which are needed given the limited resources the public sector has. Second megatrend is the energy scarcity and the price evolution and the price volatility of energy. The third megatrend that we see is the importance of risk and security and the needed investments to prepare for risk and security control. Another megatrend that is very important for mobility is the environmental concerns. This is something that, was a little bit, 20 years ago was something which was spotty here and there in the world. Now there is an overarching environmental concern across the board in the whole world. And finally, the information and entertainment everywhere. We are used to have information available at the fingertips everywhere and also a high level of entertainment in the car, outside the car, in everywhere where we are. And so that changes the expectation of what we have around us. So these are the new frontiers that we need to prepare for. Then there is a third set of megatrends. It's what we call the new technology vectors. And the new technology vectors, these are enabling megatrends, which change a lot how we can deal with all the above. So one is big cloud and big data. It's the cloud and the big data services, the analytics, the capability to process a lot of information about usage of different services and make it and utilize it to develop innovative solutions. Next one is E and M commerce and multi-channel retail. As we know, in most countries, e-commerce is becoming the driving force of retail. It's the only really growing part of retail. And M-commerce is starting now to emerge. Mobile connectivity 3.0. What is mobile connectivity 3.0? It's basically the machine-to-machine connection. It's the full availability of the tracking possibilities with RFID measurements. And so this will allow to have a different way of dealing with transport. Then a next megatrend is the Internet of Things and the smart transport, having the capability to really utilize what we have as information to guide the transport, to guide the driver, and also to substitute the driver. And that's, last but not least, social web, social media, the Web 2.0, the capability to really crowdsource a lot of information and to fully involve the information from the people to the people. So these are the new technology vectors that we need to prepare for too, and which enable the solutions that we want to develop. And the last set of megatrends are the key capabilities for the future. There are some capabilities that will become more important. And actually it's quite important for those who are still studying. They also show where new types of jobs will emerge. So it's supply chain agility is an important capability. The capability to really shift the supply chain quickly. Second one is customization, a very important capability to really develop very tailor-made solutions. Innovation, innovativeness, the capability to continuously develop disruptive new solutions. Then new challengers, dealing with the new challenges, with new companies coming from different sectors, coming from different geographies. And last but not least, the capability to develop seamless user experiences. This is something that we will see will play an important role in the solutions that will emerge. So these are 20 megatrends, and in the course of this project we really try to quantify them and understand when will these megatrends will become so important that they shift a certain scenario, that a certain scenario becomes more likely? So let me show you a glimpse into these megatrends. Everybody knows the travel flows today. We live in a still Western-dominated traffic flow world. Traffic is approximately, equally balanced. Not totally equally, but almost, And in each region, there is quite a lot of intra-regional traffic. And then there are the connections between the different axes. But it's quite a balanced world. Now, how will that shift between now and, if we just look back in 20 years from now? It is a very different world. The world clearly goes enormously east. We see that there is a quadruplication, a growth by a fourfold, of the Asia-Pacific inner traffic. It is by far then the largest traffic pole. There is an increase still in the rest of the world, and you see the approximate growth rates. It's 3% approximately in the West, but it's 7% in the Far East. And so there is a major shift taking place, and therefore also the connecting axes change enormously. So this is something that we need to prepare for, and that will change a lot the type of solutions that we need to develop. A next glimpse into the megatrends is the emergence of megacities. We have 23 megacities today. Megacities are defined cities which have more than 10 million inhabitants. There are 23 of those. There will be 14 additional emerging by 2025. Needless to say, these 14 additional emerging cities are mostly all in Asia. In the lineup of the megacities of the future, there will be only few cities which are in Europe, and it's in enlarged Europe, I would say. So it will be Istanbul, it will be Moscow, it will be London, it will be Paris. But all the other megacities will be in other regions. And these megacities will present a lot of infrastructure challenges. So there will be new levels of mobile connectivity, and we've been talking a lot about connectedness. But let us look at the data. Mobile penetration and the use of smartphones. The smartphones will be the new standard, the new normal. If you look at the very left, this is the mobile penetration today, in this year, 2012. And you see the amount of handsets that are available. So 87% of the population have a type of handset, in the emerging markets, and 122% in the developing markets. These are all the people, like a lot of business users, who have a smartphone and a BlackBerry additionally, or a private phone and an iPad. So there is certainly still more penetration of mobile phones in the developed world than the developing world. And if you look, however, at the number of people who have already a smartphone, it's only 39% in terms of people, in inhabitants, who have a smartphone today in the emerging markets. And that part will enormously grow in the next years. With the emergence of $80 smartphones, really available, and not very expensive smartphones, this will increase enormously the penetration. So the penetration by smartphones will increase to around 50% by already 2017. So the smartphone is the new tool that we need to prepare for. And you will see that a lot of the solutions that we are thinking of include the smartphone as the active connection to the consumer. But that's one part. The other part is the connected devices. And just to take cars, by 2025, 95% of the cars will be connected. And so there will be a lot of car-to-car communication and car-to-road communication taking place as a natural way of dealing with traffic. So these are the new levels of mobile connectivity that we need to prepare for. So these are just a glimpse inside a couple of these megatrends. And when we look into this, how does that really impact the scenarios of the future? And that will depend, of course, on what the companies are doing. So what we are also looked into is who are the new players in this area. And we found 4 new groups of players. There will be new challengers entering the mobility arena. So there are a lot of challengers coming from the emerging markets, which we will be defining forces also in terms of innovation. Then there will be the new challengers coming from other areas, basically from the internet world. So the Googles of this world, the Apples of this world, they claim a part in the travel and tourism industry. They come with very easy to use solutions, and they will determine, what the consumer expects. Everybody has changed its standard of expectation after the introduction of iTunes, and we might have iTravel at some stage will be the new defining standard. And then there will be, just the existing vehicle companies and plane companies who will think of new services to add to their offering, because they reckon that a car is a car today. In future, a car is a service, and therefore they need to enter those services. So all these different players will enter the world and will impact the behavior of the consumer, which in general is migrating from a ownership behavior to a user-based behavior, and to what we call a share economy. The willingness to share much more instead of just owning. And so there will be many services emerging in this area, like, R&B, call a bike. I mean, there are a lot of small services now which will become important global services, and will be services also in the international transportation sector. So these are players which will impact the way the world will change. But now, how will the world really change? And I would like to go into the 4 scenarios. And we developed these scenarios also a little bit as a framework to challenge you to think in a more radical way about what is needed in future. So the new balance scenario assumes that humankind will look for a much more balanced growth and will start to limit the excessive growth levels that we had in the past, and will look much more for a environmental responsible growth. While maximized growth will be still, will be driven by the new emerging middle classes entering as active consumers, and making sure that there is still a lot of demand for new goods. Mind the Gap is a scenario which says there will be a de-averaged world, a world of 2 standards, and we will have a coexistence of different standards, which we need to prepare for. And local is king is a vision that we will go back to a very, bucolic, local and much more, concentrated, community-based economy. Let me show you a short video which presents these scenarios in a more visible way.
Our world is changing. We are living longer, and the young have different expectations. We're worried about the economy, concerned about our security and the environment. We can't predict the future, but that doesn't mean we can't prepare for it. Looking ahead to 2025, what will transport and supply chains look like? How will the way we travel and consume goods be transformed? We're introducing 4 possible visions of how this future might take shape. In one, we see a new balance, a green revolution transforming companies into models of social responsibility and customers buying more e-cars. In another, maximized growth. Increasing trade volumes are making borders meaningless, which requires an ever more efficient global transportation network. In a third future, the gap widens. Growing inequality and income gaps require a focus on the travel needs of the poorer 80% to make sure no one is left behind. Well, in a fourth, local is king. Cyber attacks, regional conflicts, and a major epidemic have shut down global trade and created a renewed need for local products and services. The future is unfolding. When it arrives, will you be ready?
So these are the scenarios, and the question is, what are the required solutions for these scenarios? And we developed around 25 different solutions and clustered those solutions and analyzed them along 2 lines. You know, what are the social benefits, the societal benefits, and what are the benefits, the economic benefits for the players? And these solutions are in 4 different areas. And I really encourage you to go online and discover those solutions. They are posted on the World Economic Forum website and described a little bit. And I just want to give you then a glimpse on 2 solutions then more in depth, you know. But these are solutions like, for example, in the right-hand cluster, in the communication areas, like the holographic communication platforms. The idea of developing centers which you have in major cities in different parts of the city, where you can go there and you can have a really super high quality video conference where you have the feeling that the people are in the room with you without needing to travel anymore. So this is one extreme, you know, it's just a substitution of travel. Another extreme to go on safety and security is a solution which is called the vehicle operator and passenger health check. This is a solution where you enter a vehicle, and before starting to operate the vehicle, there is an automated checking system to see what the condition of the operator is. If you look at the incidents and accident rates, it has very often to do with health issues, you know, and so there is a way of scanning particularly the vehicle operator, but also the passengers, and prepare for that. That is one in the safety and security side. Or on the new forms of mobility, we looked into pop-up hotels. Hotels which are moving hotels, which can be created on demand and can be, you know, upgraded and made in a modular way so that they can grow and, you know, basically breathe with the needs for a hotel capacity. So this is one of the solutions. Or driverless swarm cars. Driverless swarm cars, which can be used mainly electrically fueled, which can be used basically in both for public transport, but also for private transport. So, and these are all solutions that now some of the participants, are really fully participating and trying to develop. But let me go to 2 specific solutions that we feel are most interesting for the travel and tourism industry, and that can really change the way we experience travel in a major way. And this is, one is the, what we call the IPITA, and the other one is the ACES. And the IPITA is the Integrated Proactive Intermodal Travel Assistant. It is a supporting platform to allow you to master your travel needs over the day. And I will show you a video on how it could look like. And the ACES is an automated check-in and border control mechanism. Everybody who's traveling today will hope that it's already being realized, because that will eliminate the long queues at the airports. So let me show you two videos.
The Integrated Proactive Intermodal Travel Assistant, or IPITA for short, is the future solution to optimize intermodal travel planning, booking and navigation. Easy to steer by natural language, it uses smart devices, data glasses or contact lenses as displays. Any changes and disruptions, like scheduling delays, congestion or weather problems, are directly detected, and alternative modes of travel or real-time rerouting are suggested. All of this is provided by one seamless interface that includes the ticket across all modes of travel. Imagine you wake up in Frankfurt in the year 2025.
Hi, I'm IPITA, your integrated proactive intermodal travel assistant. Your flight has been delayed by 3 hours. To make it on time to your meeting in Brussels, please choose alternative transport. Speed train, arrival at office 2 p.m., all-in costs €800. Or airplane, arrival at office 3:20 p.m., all-in costs €860. Select alternative. Thank you. Booking is confirmed. Here is your mobile combined ticket. Your taxi will arrive in a few minutes. Have a safe journey.
IPITA, the Integrated Proactive Intermodal Travel Assistant. Best E2E transport selection, ticketing and payment, with a solution that is fully context-aware. Real-time optimization of travel experience.
So this is IPITA. Everybody would say, gee, I would like it. But the next one is even
ACES,
more gee,
the
I like
fully
it.
automated check-in, security and border control system will ease traveling, while ensuring highest security and privacy standards. Queuing up for check-in, those long lines for security and for border control. These are the realities that have put the meaning of travail back into travel. Using biometric identification, new scanning technologies and electronic visa procedures, these realities could significantly be changed for the better. Imagine you're traveling from Beijing to Sydney in 2025.
ACES, the automated check-in, security and border control system. Airline check-in. Fingerprint approved. Security speed check. Traveler identified. Behavior profile and luggage approved. E-boarding completed. Immigration at Sydney Airport. Traveler identified. E-visa, travel profile and risk class approved. Welcome to Australia.
ACES, the automated check-in, security and border control system. No long queuing at check-in and security anymore. Fast access for registered passengers. Highest security and privacy standards.
So, quite futuristic, but something that we are longing for. So the question is, what does it take to realize it? And with that, I finish my, my little speech. It is not an issue about technology to realize it. And you see here what collectively all our participants in the working group have been assessing, what they think are the biggest hindrances to realize that. It is mainly an issue of cooperation, of standardized data exchange, of regulatory action, of legal framework, of making sure that data ownership issues are clarified, and less so an issue of being able to realize it. So the next phase of the project is really to work on this and to make sure that in not too far future, we will have some of these life-enabling, life-enhancing solutions for travel and transportation. Thank you very much.